Thanks to the team at Greenleaf Book Group and Dr. Andy Simon's new book, Rethink, for sponsoring this video. More on that in just a moment.
What's up, y'all? Jim here, Get Better with Books. Welcome to episode 1 of Bent Pages, where I share one quick and easy idea from the book that I'm currently reading. So today's Bent Page comes from Rich Diviney's new book, The Attributes, the 25 hidden drivers of optimal performance. So for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you probably saw me go live with Rich Diviney earlier this week. And for those of you who don't know Rich, he's a retired Navy SEAL commander. He's done 13 overseas deployments and has actively trained some of the elite warriors in the United States military. I think it goes without saying that this dude knows a thing or two about optimal performance. So there's a section in his book, The Attributes, that I thought was worth mentioning. I thought it was really relevant to the whole Get Better with Books page, where we talk about self-development, personal growth, skill acquisition, things like that. So in chapter 11 of his book, he talks about the idea of learnability, which he describes as the ability to absorb, process, and apply new information to a current or future context. But what I appreciated most about his definition of learnability was the emphasis on applying this to a current or future context. Because if you think about it, nowadays, mostly everyone has access to a smartphone. We have access to the internet. So we all have access to the same information. We can read the same books, we can read the same newsletters, we can watch the same YouTube videos. But not everyone goes that extra step to apply and use that information that you gather. And a lot of us, we spend our time reading books and listening to podcasts and reading newsletters and acquiring as much information as possible to try to use it to our advantage. But I think what is most important here is how efficiently that we are absorbing this information, how we are contextualizing this information, how we are building different patterns from that, but most importantly, how we are applying that. And I think it's those of us who can absorb this information as efficiently as possible, how we can synthesize this and use it to our advantage. These are the folks who have a competitive advantage in this information society that we live in. And before we go into the 3 ways that you can actually apply this information that you learned, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Dr. Andy Simon, and her new book, Rethink. So as most of you know, March is Women's History Month, and women today are speaking up, stepping out, and breaking through like never before. The best-selling book, Rethink, Smashing the Myths of Women in Business from Fast Company, tells the inspiring stories of incredible women who redefine norms by pushing past the obstacles others placed before them. These stories range from the founder of Build-A-Bear to a NASA aerospace engineer and an award-winning geoscientist to a university president. Go and get your copy today from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or your local bookstore and learn how you can recognize your full potential. Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to applying this new information that we are learning and gathering, there's really 3 ways to go about it. Number 1 is repetition, number 2 is intensity, and 3 is focus. So repetition is pretty self-explanatory. It's how often you do things, right? Like the easier it becomes, the more that you should do it. Get your reps in and it's gonna become easier. Number 2, intensity is the process of exposing yourself to new information in combination of an intense experience. So here's an example. When you're first learning to drive, it's one thing to be told about yielding to oncoming traffic when you're merging onto the highway. But it's another thing to have the intense experience of trying to merge onto the highway with a big ass 18-wheeler barreling down the highway right on your ass. These intense experiences have a way of embedding their lessons deep inside of our brains. And lastly, number 3 is the ability to focus. And by deliberately focus on specific examples, specific details, this is going to force you and your information that you're gathering deeper into your long-term memory. So if something is worth learning, do yourself a favor, remove distractions, and spend the extra time to deliberately focus on the task at hand. If you're interested in ways to drive more optimal performance in your day-to-day life, I recommend checking out The Attributes by Rich Diviney on how you can improve and create more optimal performance in your life. I'll put the link in my bio so you can check it out. Do me a favor, like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. This is Jim, Get Better with Books, signing out. I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.